They were denied. They said it was too tall. It's not compatible with the existing surrounding area. They were only approved after it was brought down to two stories and 35 feet. 2003, Canyon Ridge Christian Church wanted a 77-foot. You think it's funny? We're speaking from our heart, Francis, and you're up there smiling. David Claps out of the planning department said the cross is part of the structure and would have to meet a 35-foot criteria. Deputy City Attorney Brian Scott said there is a height limitation of 35 feet, no different if cross or steeple. What's changed? The law hasn't changed, but the interpretation of it has. In 2019 and 20, the prior landowner was denied GPA and rezoning on the same lot. Does not conform to the interlocal agreement, does not permit and is not permitted in the zoning district. In 22, Church of God was denied, not compliant with the surrounding area. April 2024, Century Communities denied the same day the LDS was approved, denied in the rural preservation area like us. They only asked for a medium-low density change, not a CV change, industrial change in our rural neighborhood. Said it did not meet the 2050 master plan. Neither does this. The LDS are not the victims here. They're not. The residents are being victimized. Their property rights are being violated, and the LDS doesn't care. They don't care. And we wonder if you care, because the laws say you can't do it. But we're told you're going to do it. You don't care what the community says. We're not rich. We're not politicians. We don't have $200 billion. But you know what? These people bought there believing they were going to have what they were going to have for the rest of their lives. And you sit there with no empathy for them. Zero. It's just another thing to stamp. But you're destroying their homes. They were there first. May I submit these to the record?
Thank you.
We need to submit those too?
Oh, all this?
Yeah. Sorry for being upset.
No. Part of passion. Passions are good.
Can I give him this?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all yours, ma'am.
Thank you for coming down. Mr. Taylor. Good afternoon.
Mayor, council members, Nathan Taylor, 8414 West Farm Road, representing about 70 of the neighbors. I'm going to set my timer too, just to make sure I don't go over.
We got you up
I'll
there.
hit start.
Okay.
As a Las Vegas native, and someone who's worked in land use consulting for over 20 years, I have to tell you this is probably one of the most difficult issues I've had to work on. The one thing I think that bothers me the most, being from Las Vegas, is kind of watching neighbors get pitted against neighbors, and that bothers me as someone from here. So I just wanted to put that on record that I just find that really unacceptable and really sad that it got to this point. In my opinion, I think that a lot of this could have been avoided had this process been fair for the property owners, and I'll go through that. I think fairness is important. When you have something of this great impact being proposed to property owners, it involves some serious considerations all around. I want to kind of talk about how we got to where we are here today and talk about the fairness issue. And my opinion is what it is, right? But I got to lay it out here on the record so that you know. And everything I'm going to state is fact, because that's what I'm supposed to do. The applicant only held one neighborhood meeting. And in my many years of doing land use consulting, I've been asked by this council and other councils many times to hold multiple neighborhood meetings for a variety of reasons. They not only held only one neighborhood meeting, but they held it at their place of worship with their members present. In my opinion, that's unacceptable. Regardless of what the religion is, that's unacceptable. Neighborhood meetings should have been held at a neutral location where we normally hold these types of meetings. There was a second meeting held. That was a Zoom meeting, a meeting in which the property owners could not speak, could not give their opinions other than in writing, and could not have any type of dialogue regarding this process. Then there was a third meeting. This meeting was referred to as a round table. This meeting was where we were asked to come to the city to sit in a room where only 6 property owners were present. And we, and myself as a representative of the homeowners, was not granted the ability to bring certain homeowners that I represent to the meeting. I was told that I have to just show up and whoever they invited is allowed to be in the meeting. One of the first things said in that meeting was that, as a housekeeping item, the first thing said was, this is not a negotiation. That was the first thing said in the meeting. Now, I was brought into this to negotiate this project. That's it. It was the only reason why I was brought into this, to negotiate the project, to make this work for the property owners. Then we go to our final meeting, which was last Friday. That meeting was facilitated by the applicant's representative. Let me take this opportunity to say that Jennifer Lazovich has some of the best, most unbelievable integrity of anybody in this business. Anybody that comes before this council. Jennifer Lazovich is honest, she's fair, and she truly cares about everything she works on and everyone that's involved in it, and that needs to be said. She's just doing her job here today just like I am. Jennifer didn't have to have that meeting. I talked to her, I requested it, she talked to the applicant, and it was granted. Now, at that meeting, this was the first time up to this point, which was Friday. This was the first time that we've had the opportunity to even do anything that looks like a negotiation. Jennifer was nice enough to get some of the representatives of this application from Salt Lake City on the Zoom in her office. We were able to have some dialogue with them and speak about this project, and I thought it was a good discussion. But in my opinion, council, this was a start. It was an hour meeting, but it was a start. And I think, if anything, having a start is better than having an end. And so that's where we left off on Friday. One of the things we talk about when we speak about land use is it harmonious and compatible, what you're bringing before the council? In this case, this project is not harmonious and compatible with the existing development. This is surrounded by a very rural part of Las Vegas, a very unique part of Las Vegas, and this project just doesn't work. And they're asking for this zone change, this GPA, all of this in an area that's desert rural, as you know, that is zoned for 2.49 dwelling units per acre. If approved, we do know that this will introduce something of commercial into the neighborhood. There's no way around that. These buildings are international destinations. They're not just visited by local people, they're visited by people all over the world. It will increase traffic, we know that. We know that it'll forever change the landscape of this area, of this community. We also know that the views that are there now won't be there anymore. We also know that there will be light pollution. There's no way around that. There's so many other ways that if this is built that it will impact this neighborhood that I would need much more time that I don't have here today. So I can't get into all of those. But these are people's lives we're talking about. This is their largest investment. These are their homes. This is their community. This is where they chose to live because they knew they would never have a building like this built next to their homes. That's why they built these homes. That's why they moved there, because they knew that this was never going to happen. We've been pretty consistent, and I've met with all of you, and I appreciate your time. We've been pretty consistent over what we've been requesting. We've been requesting 3 simple things up to this point. And one was to hold this item for 30 days, to not have it heard today, to not have it voted on today. And I explained the reason I was asking for the abeyance was because I wanted the applicant to have a second neighborhood meeting. I felt like the neighborhood deserved that much. You know, throw them a bone or something, right? You know, a second neighborhood meeting, I think, would be appropriate in this situation at a neutral location, which I've already mentioned. And then I think 30 days would be enough for us to work with the applicant's representative to maybe have some more negotiations, to maybe get somewhere. I think that 30 days was enough. That's why I didn't ask for more than that. We're not here today saying don't build anything on this property. We're not saying don't move a rock, don't move dirt. That's not what we're here for. We've been consistently in saying that we're okay with them building a temple here. Completely okay with them building a temple here. I want to make that clear. Build a temple here. Just not one of this size. This is a monstrosity of a building. I mean, come on. 216 feet high, 70,000 square feet, additional buildings, 500 parking spaces. I mean, I've never seen anything like this close to this type of neighborhood in the city. This thing it's a big building. This is not appropriate. It's just not appropriate. We wish we could be standing here in front of you today supporting this application. I would like nothing more than to be standing here saying, Mayor, Council, we support this application. I would stand behind Ms. Lazovich and say, we're here to support your temple design. We're here to do whatever we can as a community to stand behind you. That's not what we have here today. We have a lot of homeowners here that just don't want to see what's being proposed built. In closing, I will say this, that the City Council, you're not obligated to vote for this project as presented. No one's guaranteed a GPA. I've done GPAs myself. No one's guaranteed that. No one's guaranteed a zone change. No one's guaranteed a site development review as presented. These are things that have to be approved by you because you find them suitable, you find them harmonious, and you find them compatible. In this situation, it's not. I can stand up here and cite a lot of court cases. You probably don't want to hear that. There was one in Douglas County, and they did rule that you did not have a burden based on a religious use to vote on an application like this just because it was a religious organization. You were allowed to follow your zoning law. You're allowed to do what you feel is right. We wind up coming back here. I do hope we come back here, depending on what happens today, and we're all on the same page on what's being built here. The impacts that this is going to have really in southern Nevada and this northwestern community is going to be great in nature. And I just hope that we can try and get somewhere where everyone's, on the same page, that we're in agreement, and that we don't have a lot of hurt feelings. I know not everybody can get 100% of the things that they're asking for. I understand that. But I would sure like to see this come to an end to where, somebody gets something, not someone getting 100% of everything they're asking for. And so with that, I would just hope that you would take my comments into consideration, Mayor, and thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. All right, what I think I'd like to do at this point, before we go directly into the public comment, I'd like to, is there anyone in council that has a question, not a whole stream, but either of our city management here, or either Ms. Lasovich or Ms. Jewett or Mr. Taylor at this point? Any question not answered by this? No, I guess we're okay. So at this point, and any question from staff here that you're clear? Okay. So what we'll do, as you can see, we have a pro and a con aisle. What I'm going to ask you to do, first of all, is not be repetitive of each other. I think because all of us, at least from my perspective, this has been 4 months. And we've received so much input from both sides of the coin, but really trying to understand what are we dealing with here. The pride each of us has in like yourselves, in this community, and having watched it grow and change and understanding most of the zoning and special use permits, learned a lot. The hardest thing is we know we're at a loggerheads here. We, in this project, in this proposal, one of the hardest things for us, and going back 25 years, I can do that through my husband's mayorship, is infill pieces are very, very challenging most often. And when you go to raw acreage, your community, if they like whatever is on the raw acreage, other people will come live there, whether it's commercial development or whatever type of development goes on. This happens to have obviously been an infill piece. So there is no way on an infill that you're not going to have questions with which you have to deal. I think we've heard the words harmonious and compatible, and for all of us, wherever we have chosen to purchase land and build or bought another piece of property, you take in a lot of considerations. And so we know here in this community, I don't think it has anything in particular to do with a specific religion. We embrace everybody. And whether it's a mosque or a temple or a church, I mean, we can look throughout all of southern Nevada and know we appreciate that. And I think the thing I've learned on this is what's been articulated. One, it's an infill piece in a neighborhood that's developed where it happens to be at that time by choice, no lights, no sidewalks, no commercial. And yet people of all different religions and faiths, and maybe more of one than another. But I think what we've heard here is that absolute passion to hold on and enjoy the lifestyle you've chosen to live. And this is our ranchette area. And so it is not anything other than the comments that I've heard about the harmoniousness, compatibility, the reasonableness of a project that's being built. It's the project that's being built that is the concern, not disagreement with lifestyles or anything else. And so originally I had asked Councilwoman Polensky, is there an opportunity that further dialogue is going to make a difference in the 50-50 or whatever imbalance it is, but in this, if we continued it for 60 days or 30 days, is anything going to change? And the passion and beliefs, our religious beliefs are very, very strong. Our lifestyle choices are very strong. And what I have heard back from a variety of individuals is no. And so this is a piece, and I gather from what I have learned, and I may be wrong, but when you get up to speak, is there any flexibility, one, in a different location? And I have been told no. And that is there any alteration that would really make a difference from the issues on the table? And I don't think there is that magnitude that would satisfy all the people all the time, or even some of the people some of the time, to make this 100% Las Vegas, where we're together as a family and we make things work. So I was informed that probably to go ahead and grant any abeyance and take another 30 days, we're going to still be where we are. And for all of us who've watched the past few weeks in the political process, that split there is a hard time. It's a hard time all the way around. So what you can ask for and where it will go from here, and what Councilwoman is going to inform us and talk about in light of having this work through so that we remain a family of caring people, and that those who live in the neighborhood, they chose to live there, buy there, and raise their families there. Is it just going to come to be that this is going to be, and you'll either stay there or move, and others will move in, or is there any flexibility that can meet, so it can be harmonious or not? And is there any other site? And for all of us who love our diversity, and having seen the magnificent temple on Route 5 in San Diego, that is absolutely the most outstanding building and center, and it's just awesome. Then having been here on Sunrise Mountain back in the 60s, early 70s, when it was just rural, couple of houses on Eastern, and then the temple came and was built, and congregants moved to be close to the temple, and it became a fly paper to bring people and a positive force. And then the other meeting houses that are around. And I think the only thing I'm hearing from everybody, it has nothing to do with belief or challenging one religion from another. It is all about the size of the temple in their location. And from what I'm hearing, that is the entire issue. And for us as a body, whether we have issues with the harmonious and compatibility of this structure, and is it something just we have to accept and we will go forward? Or is there any way that we can pull everybody together? I know we have wide open land in Ward 6, and I know you welcome everybody in Ward 6 and in raw acreage and not infill. So in a sense, and it is good to be mayor, even though I only have 5 months left, and I just have loved every moment of watching our community develop and how we accept each other and really know our strength is in our diversity and our different nationalities, cultures, races, religious beliefs, and everything that we're part of. And there is also the word that you've all heard of progress, and watch Las Vegas grow and develop. So with that, I'm going to ask, and we're going to try to keep this to a reasonable time tonight. I'm going to ask our city clerk for a minute, if you would, and if you'll just make sure when you come to the microphones, in fact, we can take the pros over here on this mic and the cons over here, and you can just line all the way up to the door. And if you will just, we will not count your minute when you say your name or your residence, and it would help us to know that you are not from beyond the city, even though you're in an island. If you're in a county island, we just want to know you're part of the county. But if you've come in from Henderson or Boulder City because you definitely just believe, please leave the city people that live in the confines of the city, or let us know you're from beyond the city confines. And those of you who are in the county island, you're part of our city too. And maybe according to Tick Sigerbloom, everybody will be part of the city of Las Vegas, which we welcome and would be happy to annex. So please, if you would, and again, for those of you who have caps and hats, if you'd be kind enough, out of courtesy to this body, remove your hats, and we'll get started. So we welcome you all. We thank you for taking your time to come here. And you can just get a little closer to the person at the mic, and we're going to start. And we always let ladies. I'm a traditionalist and a conservative, so we're going to start with the ladies.
Mayor, if I might interrupt for a second,
Yes.
Jeff Dorkek, City Attorney. We're going to need only about 10 people in line at both at a time, just because we don't want to block those exit aisles, especially the one on the what is that, the east side of the building?
Oh, on this side of the building?
Yeah, well, in
Yeah.
general, though, yeah, let's keep it to about 10 so
Fire
those lanes can
marshals,
stay open
right.
for fire code
That-
purposes.
Right, we want to make sure you're safe. Okay, yes, ma'am, your name
you
and
very much.
if you're in the
Absolutely.
city or
I'm
county.
Patricia
island.
Reed, and I do reside in the city.
Okay, so then as soon as they've said that, Madam Clerk, then put on their minute and it will be registered overhead.
All right, ready? Super. First of all, I'm surprised that the staff is recommending approval of this. If this was happening 15 or 20 years ago, the building would not be an issue, because that was when all of the planning and development was happening there. What you've got now are families who have settled in this area decades ago, and if they knew this was going to happen now, they would have a choice to live there or not. Basically, you're not giving them a choice now. I personally believe this belongs in Southwest Las Vegas. They're planning, they're developing, there's a lot of land. You hear about all of the battles that are going on in that part of the valley. It's still on the west side. You're not impacting any families or homes that are already there. It needs to be conducive to what's happening here. This has nothing to do with religion. It certainly would be I'd talk if it was storage units. The bottom line is it doesn't belong there. Thank you.
Thank you.
No vote.
And I'm going to let you know, you'll hear, what is it, how many seconds out that lets them know that you've got so many seconds left?
10 seconds out.
Okay, at the 10, when you have 10 seconds left for your minute, that you'll hear that go off. So we'll help you stay on time. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Goodman, members of the City Council. My name is Bud Stoddard, and I live at 9112 Frosty Morning Avenue, which is in Ward 4 of the City of Las Vegas. Can I just show a video while I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
I'll just put it right here and just let it roll. I strongly support the proposed Lone Mountain Temple application. I serve as the president of the Las Vegas, Nevada Lone Mountain Stake of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Our stake has 7 congregations in the area immediately surrounding the proposed temple. I'm confident you've heard about this event, the thousands of people from our local community who packed the plaza for the Planning Commission in May. And I've personally spoken with hundreds of members of my stake who strongly support the construction of this temple. They live in the area. We hope that you will consider the voices of these thousands of individuals who have signed petitions, written letters, submitted comment cards, and shown up here this afternoon in addition to the voices of whom you will hear today. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that's impressive. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Randy Gordon, and I'm biased. I live in the neighborhood less than a mile from where this temple is proposed to be built. I live southwest, but basically I live just southwest of Alexander and Grand Canyon. So I would ask anybody that's voting on this possibility of a zoning change to say, have you been to Alexander and El Capitan? Do you know where those 2 cross streets are? Because there is an LDS church right there. And that LDS church at El Capitan and Alexander is aesthetically works with the surrounding neighborhood. This proposal, this building, does not aesthetically work for what's in the surrounding neighborhood. I'm a surrounding neighbor. I used to live next to a church that needed traffic control every Sunday. And that's my minute. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Rabbi Melhex.
Hi.
My address is 9324 Red Twig Drive. It's in Summerlin. I think I'm in the city.
Yes.
You never know nowadays with all the changes that are taking place. When I first came, there was a cliche joke about Las Vegas needing a church on every corner. That's what my generation, when I came in July of 1980, we're all referring to. I've seen major changes, and every decade we've been faced with a different reality. And we started in the 80s, I believe, in asking the question, what do we want to be when we grow up? In the 90s, it began to take shape. We had the corporations come in, some magnificent tourist attractions on our boulevard.
Rabbi, thank you. That's a minute. Thank you, Rabbi. I know you, and you would take longer. You're next up.
Hello. Goodbye.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I say one more thing?
No.
No.
Bye.
I'm here.
All right, and we're not going to start you till you give your address, and if you know if it's city or if it's in that county island. Please.
Okay. My name is Victoria Bremner, 7810 La Madra. I live in city and in the RMP. I've lived in the RMP for 30 years in the same home. The applicant's proposal size and scale is simply incompatible with the residential area. They want to build a 20-acre commercial-sized facility, including a 70,000 square foot, 3-story gated compound with 70,000 workspace. I need to read from this, sorry. It's a private members club in the middle of a residential area. Any other applicant with this size, scale, and scope would be swiftly denied and not allowed to build this way. A vote yes would immediately undo decades of work of your predecessors. It would immediately negate years of cooperation and community of the residents of this area have fought for. A yes vote would dismiss over 3 decades of the efforts of everyone prior to you and treating past decisions, protections, and considerations for the actual residents as disposable trash. You are merely stewards of the land and you are short-term, but your decisions have long-term permanent effects. You cannot undo this. We should not be the experiment for a new zoning.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Greetings to all. My name is Reverend Deborah R. Smith, and I serve along with my husband, Dr. Welton T. Smith III, the Greater Evergreen Missionary Baptist Church at 1915 Lexington, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89106. I have but 3 words to offer us on this evening, and that is upward, forward, together. Let's build this temple. God bless you.
Good afternoon.
Hi, I'm Vicki Sharon, 4718 North Jensen Street in the city. We own a custom home on 1 acre and 2 horses, which we ride to the equestrian park at the base of Lone Mountain at least 3 times per week. We are not opposed to any house of worship in our neighborhood. Churches, synagogues, mosques, and Mormon wards and meeting houses are equally welcome, as are parks and schools. We are opposed to changing zoning laws for a private, not public, monumental structure, which threatens not only our rural way of life, but our safety. Increased traffic to the temple site from the 215 Lone Mountain Road exit would make horseback riding unsafe for us. Mayor Goodman, Councilwoman Polensky, and members of the council, please represent your constituents fairly and oppose this devastating change. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Mayor Goodman, members of the City Council, my name is Donna Taliaferri. I live at 6280 North Hualapai Way. I have lived in the northwest part of the valley for 30 years. I was honored to sit on the Lone Mountain Citizens Advisory Council for 8 years, and then 12 years as a county planning commissioner for Larry Brown. Currently, I am Vice President of the Northwest Rural Preservation Association, and I have advocated alongside many of these neighbors with one voice as we moved the Beltway, kept commercial out, and maintained some of the largest lots in the valley. I, like them, have always advocated for what is right for our area. Although the Northwest Rural Preservation Association, of which I'm a board member, hasn't reached a consensus, I know that there are hundreds and hundreds of residents in the Lone Mountain area who are looking forward to having a temple built nearby. This project is compatible and harmonious with our neighborhood, our community, and Las Vegas, and I encourage your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hi,
Good
ma'am.
afternoon. Hi, Mayor.
Hi.
Hi, council members. Back in the 90s, I was part of that group that were forming the rural preservation. I'm a lifetime resident. I've lived here all my life. My family's been here since the strip was dirt. And my name is Renee Newman.
Your name?
And Renee Newman. And I do live I'm in the county now. I've been in the county 38 years at that island, and we've built in that same zip code. This will be the third time. Long story short, I don't believe that the general plan amendment should be changed and adapted for this project. The project is unsuitable. I don't think that it's proper for that location. I don't know that I'd even call that an infill piece, because it is surrounded totally by rural, and there are portions on the side, as she mentioned in her explanation, that the project itself is backed up to school property. But they've had an opportunity to build a school there, and it's never had the chance to have a school built there. In fact, I'd rather have a school if that was the case. But in this case right now, I don't think that the temple, it's a compound, not just a church. And as was mentioned previous, there's 5 or 6 different churches around that area, and they're all within that certain size. The size and scope of the project is too big for the area. And I do live in an area that's visible. I can actually see it from where I live. And I'm impacted by the traffic. And long story short, my whole family was impacted by the traffic at the Craig and Buffalo when the county owned portions and the city owned the other portion.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you again. I just hope you vote against the GPA, and it doesn't belong. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Anthony Longo. I live in the city of Las Vegas. I also live in Ward 4. I support the proposal application. Some in opposition to this application are citing crime as an issue if the temple is built on Lone Mountain. I'm a retired police officer from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I have over 30 years of law enforcement training and experience. I know and understand crime statistics in our valley. I've researched the crime data of the surrounding area where the current temple sits on the east side of town on Sunrise Mountain. The neighborhood that surrounds the temple there has one of the lowest crime rates and calls for service through the Las Vegas Valley. For those who will come to worship in the temple at Lone Mountain, and those who will just come to visit the beautiful grounds that surround this sacred building, will not be the ones who will bring crime into the area. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Nicely said.
Good afternoon,
Hi.
Mayor and Council. I'm Debbie Drummond. I live at 10250 West Tropical Parkway. I'm about 2 miles north of this site. I'm in the county and in the RPN. I want to get these 2 maps on the record because, following up on what Renee said, to change the GPA, they need to be able to show a hardship. And I've seen in many of their letters supporting this thing that it's a hardship to drive to the east side. Well, I'm sorry, they have a meeting house 1.6 miles from this site. The current temple is only 21 miles. Some of those letters that I see supporting it, they're from like the 89131, 89084 zip codes. Those are just as close to the east side as to this side. So I don't see a hardship there that justifies this temple. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Madam Clerk, could we get that? Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the Council. My name is Jamel Taylor, and I live at 3500 Lacebark Pine Street in the city of Las Vegas, Ward 4, and I am in support of this proposed temple application. I've owned a small landscape company here in Las Vegas for over 18 years and have been in the landscape industry for over 30 years. I get the opportunity to design beautiful outdoor spaces for homeowners throughout the valley. And one thing I appreciate about the temple is the grounds and how beautiful the landscaping is. People from all walks of life get to visit the temple and observe the colors and textures that permeate the mature landscape grounds. Obviously, when a new project like this is being built and it's being installed with plant material, it's going to look small and immature. And this won't be any different with this proposed temple. However, one thing that the temple is doing is taking these 24-inch box trees that is going to be installed here and upgrading those to 36-inch box trees. This is very significant because not only is the cost going to be more, but it's going to create a situation where it's going to have larger canopies. These trees are going to be bigger in girth and be more aesthetically pleasing. And so by having those in there and having a larger root system, their survival rate is going to go up tremendously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
appreciate your time.
Thanks. Yes, ma'am.
Hi
there.
City Council. Thank you for hearing me. My name is Stephanie Dahlgren. I live at 4037 Peaceful Dune Street. That is county. I just have a list of concerns. Basically, they start with the plans for a casino-size building, lit 24/7, like the Luxor, in my backyard, and I'm within probably 1,006 feet of it, and that's what I'll see now instead of Lone Mountain. Based on their planting plans, that's going to be huge water usage. Why can't they use native planting? Why can't they make it fit our community better? I'm also concerned about the water drainage and the flood controlling. Concrete is less porous than asphalt, and the runoff coming when we get our flooding rains is going to be much larger than one might consider. As far as there's a flat-out disrespect in the planning and the push for this, for the local zoning that has been in place that everybody living there has had to build to. And I just don't think it's appropriate. And finally, I don't know where it's written that size, lighting, and height is required to worship, but there are documents in the packet showing from an LDS person LDS communities that have built to community specs.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Goodman,
Hi.
members of council. My name is Melissa Lowe. I live at 4113 Everest Street, which lies on the corner of Hickam and Fort Apache in the city of Las Vegas, Ward 4. I support the temple application. Our backyard has a clear view and direct view of Lone Mountain, as well as the proposed site. In my opinion, the temple will not block our view of the mountain in any significant way. Rather, I think it will have the opposite effect. I believe the temple will enhance and beautify the neighborhood without distracting from the beauty of the mountain. Currently, the proposed site is a vacant lot that collects garbage and is unsightly. LDS temples are meticulously maintained, and I sincerely hope the application is approved and we can enjoy the peace and beauty it will bring. Thank you.
Thank you. I drove by your house yesterday.
Oh.
Hi.
Good afternoon, Mayor Goodman and council members. My name is Steve Starr. I live at 4225 North TP Lane. I'm in the county. I'm not opposed to the LDS temple, but I am opposed to the building this enormous temple in our rural neighborhood. It simply does not fit. Our property backs up to Hickam Avenue, putting our home one of the closest to the proposed temple. If council approves this location and the building goes forward, there must be compromises made to benefit the neighbors. Important for our location is moving all traffic egress and ingress and streetlights along Hickam Avenue and make Hickam Avenue an equestrian trail as a buffer to the existing residents and a pathway for our equestrian neighbors and their horses. No structure over 35 feet in height and limited hours on the lighting. I'm putting faith in you as our representatives to do the right thing and not approve the temple at this location. Please consider this. If your family lived in this peaceful neighborhood, how would you really vote? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor Goodman, members of the council. My name is Julie Meservey. I live at 40112 Flaming Peak Court in Ward 4, City of Las Vegas.
And who's the guy you brought with you?
This is Kyle Meservey, my oldest son.
How are you, Kyle? Nice to see you.
Hi.
Okay, good.
I support the construction of the proposed temple. Mayor Goodman, you asked us, and yes, living nearby the temple is very, very important to me and my family. I'm an assistant principal currently at Arborview High School. My work involves long hours, and I often return to school in the evenings for sports and activities. Because of time constraints, it's difficult for me to attend the temple worship on the valley's east side. The temple is a place where I meditate, find peace and serenity, and spend time in quiet reflection and prayer. My adult son, Kyle Meservey, who is standing with me, would like a temple nearby to worship in. Kyle has autism. He does not drive. He is very excited because he would like the convenience of being able to walk to the temple. He lives with us, and he hopes to not only worship in the temple, but also volunteer and serve in the temple. We know that having a temple nearby will greatly enhance our lives.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Bye, Kyle. Hi.
Good afternoon, hopefully not good evening.
Not yet.
I'm Lee Dusbeck. I live one block northwest of the proposed site. Been there 32 years. Back in the late 90s, I was president of the Northwest Citizens Association. I was also on the Lone Mountain Advisory Council. Back then, the city and county weren't talking to each other. And I saw from your agenda 10, 20, 40-acre parcels being annexed. So I talked to the county commissioner, Paul Christensen. He didn't know anything about it. I was faxing him your agendas. And for your younger people, you can Google what a fax machine is. In any case, I met with City Councilman Matt McAllister. And he told me, well, I won't tell you what he told me. It has something to do with hell and snowballs or something. I don't know. But through a miracle, we were able to get the county and you, the city, together in the same room, same time, sign that contract. And I just want to say, if anybody looks at that, I got friends on both sides. Look at that contract. You know what you can see, anybody can see? Intent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor Goodman, members of the council, my name is Joe Crapo, and I live near the proposed temple site in the county at 4635 North Fort Apache Road. I am a professional electrical engineer, and I specialize in lighting. I'm a past president of the Las Vegas section of the Illuminating Engineering Society. The Illuminating Engineering Society is the worldwide authority on all things lighting. It publishes the standards for lighting design and installation practices. I'd be happy to discuss foot candles, color temperatures, glare, light trespass, all that stuff, but time doesn't permit. So I would like to say I am not involved in the design or the construction of this temple, but I could not be more excited for it to be built. The engineers are my professional competitors, and I've known them for years. The lighting designer specifically is highly qualified. I also know the general contractor and the architect. These individuals do not share my faith, but I know their work and their professional reputations. Right. They are some of the best in the business. I have full faith that they will build and design and construct this project according to all applicable laws.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, council members. I'm Mayor Goodman. Thank you for giving this opportunity to speak. My name is Todd Gibb. I live at 9613 Bending River Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada, and I have been in that location for over 20 years. I have been helping these folks with this battle. I look at all the support documents. I look at the opposition documents. I have gone through a lot of the support documents, and I see letters from all throughout the city and different states all across the country. We got the opposition, which has about 6,000 signatures opposing it, and that is this document here, which you have there. I have gone through this because I felt everybody's all over the board. I went through this and highlighted everybody that lived in 89129 that opposed the temple. There are 704 people on this list here. I have broken it down into two different maps. I stated within the 89129, My first area was within the 1,000 square foot area. There are 78 homes currently built, 9 vacant landowners of different names, 124 tract homes to the south that are in this area. If you go according to the map, there is 29 opposed and 10 in favor within a 1,000-foot radius of the temple site. We go within a mile. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm over?
Yes, unfortunately, but thank you very much. And Les, you get your minutes still, even though you were part of that. You can't, we're not giving minutes. You can finish up your own 1 minute.
Okay, great. We'll just finish this, ma'am. Go ahead.
No, he can't. You're on. It's your minute.
The second square here is within a...
Pull the microphone towards you, please. Restate your name.
Valerie Jewick.
Okay, and where do you live?
City, RMP.
Okay, now you can continue on the information.
Thank you.
If you will.
This map here is a mile, square mile. And out of that square mile, you have 72 opposed and 20 in favor. We keep telling that it's 5-1 for the LDS. It's not when you pull the numbers and you map them. So that propaganda that we keep hearing that it's all the Mormons, they outnumber the residents, they do not. These are the numbers. These are from the statistics that were pulled from the form stat, right? Is that what it's called? Yep. And so this just gives you more realistic, instead of everybody saying we're out more. Yeah, for the whole community of Las Vegas, absolutely we're outnumbered. For the residents that live here, no. They oppose this project, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we submit this for the record?
Yes, if we could. Miss Jackie, could you get the map? Hi there.
Hi, Mayor Goodman, members of the council. My name is Carly Burton. I live at 10723 Benmore Court, which is in Ward 4. I'm so sorry. I grew up in Ward 4.
Ma'am, we'll start you over again, but could you give us your name again? We didn't get it.
Yeah, my name is Carly Burton. And where I live?
Cardi. We got it. Thank you.
Okay, start. You're getting your whole minute.
Okay.
See, tears always work.
I'm so sorry. I grew up in Ward 4 and graduated high school from Centennial High School. I moved away to further my education and was fortunate enough to be able to move my family back to Ward 4 just over a year ago. I have 2 young kids, ages 3 and 1, and a husband who's in medical school. I currently work as a nurse and will complete my doctorate in nursing practice next spring. I look forward to being able to practice as a nurse practitioner in our city once I graduate. Life is busy right now, and it is difficult to attend the temple as it is across the valley. To have a temple built in Ward 4 would mean I could attend more often. The temple will be compatible with the preferences of both members and non-members of the church, serving as a good neighbor to our community. Additionally, the temple will contribute to uplifting and beautifying our community, enhancing the cultural and spiritual landscape of Ward 4. Thank you.
Your family must be very proud of you. Keep going. We welcome you. Yes, sir. Hi.
Good afternoon, Mayor Goodman and council members. Thank you for taking time to hear us out. Can't imagine how difficult these decisions really are for you. My name is Matt Hackley. I do live within the 1,000 feet of the proposed project, and I do oppose it. It is clear that this group in blue shirts here, they desire a sanctuary and a place where they can worship their God. However, they have one. If they think they need a new one here in our neighborhood, that's fine, but as it is proposed, it does not fit into our neighborhood. To the gentleman who spoke about the crime being lowered in our neighborhood, I have to oppose and disagree with that, because since our neighbors have began opposing this project, homes have been vandalized, property has been vandalized, and we have had mafia-style vans and truckloads of men driving into the cul-de-sacs, giving the stare down to our neighbors, which now creates unsafe environment for me and my children to play on our streets. I don't know why we shouldn't. We're all supposed to be neighbors here. They're claiming being a good neighbor, but this isn't being a good neighbor at all. This project creates an unsafe environment for those of us who love to recreate in the area, riding horses, riding bikes, and walking through the streets. Increased traffic will create safety hazards.
Thank you for coming.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. My name is Luis Vasquez. I lived at 2901 Lotus Hill Drive in Sun City, Summerlin. I have been a resident of Las Vegas for the last 11 years. I served in the Las Vegas Temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as a volunteer worker weekly. It takes me approximately 45 to 60 minutes to travel to the east side of town where the existing temple is located. I have eagerly looked forward to the day when the church will build a temple on the west side of the valley. The news of the proposed Lone Mountain Temple brought much excitement not only to me, but to thousands of other church members living in the community, especially in Sun City. As the population of the valley grows, so does the traffic. With this continued growth, traveling time to the existing temple is going to take even longer. This is why we must have this new temple built closer to where so many of the members now reside. The temples of our church are places of beauty and peace wherever they're built. Therefore, the Lone Mountain Temple will enhance our community greatly. I strongly urge you to vote in the affirmative for the construction of the Lone Mountain Temple. I appreciate your time given me to address you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi there.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor, council members, city staff. My name is Catherine Kessel. I live on North Chieftain Street. I'm about a block and a half away from this proposed development. I've been there for 30 years, and I've watched it grow and become what it is today. I would like to say I don't have anything against a temple or any house of worship being built. I have friends in this room who are wearing blue shirts and stickers today. They will always be my friends. I'm not against the purpose of the house of worship. Right. I'm against the things that has clearly been outlined here today. And I believe that there's a lot of valid points being made. I do wonder, and it's been mentioned briefly, what other sites were seriously considered for this project, because really didn't hear about the formality of all this until it was, and I'm going to use the term bulldozed, it was bulldozed down us that this was coming and this is where it was going to be. So there has been reference to other parts of land, other vacant spots, and I do wonder, and we deserve to know, what other parts were considered that were either chosen, that were not chosen, and why is that? Why is our quiet neighborhood the place this has to be?
Thank you. I think I mentioned that in my opening remarks.
You did, and I also want to know.
That's it. Okay, that will do. No, everybody is getting the same 1 minute. No. Well, we're trying to do this fairly, and so you want to be fair too. 1 minute. So please come right on. Thank you. It is good to be mayor. It's a little late for you all to file, but I highly recommend it. Sorry.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Chris Biggins, and I live at 8910 Hickam Avenue, which is in that county island which you spoke of, just a short distance from the temple.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, and can we start his minute again? For some reason, the mic is not high enough for you. You may, well, I shouldn't do that. Lean in. Thank you.
Okay.
Could you do it again?
We need you to repeat your name.
Okay, my name is Chris Figgins. I live at 8910 Hickam Avenue, just a short distance from the county, and I'm in that proverbial county island that you talked about. In 2018, my wife and I built a home in the Lone Mountain Rural Preservation Area. We love this area, and we're in full support of the items before you. Before we purchased the lot, I did due diligence with respect to the traffic in the neighborhood. According to the RTC Regional Streets and Highways map, Grand Canyon is an 80-foot street with a capacity of 4 lanes and 36,800 cars per day when built out. Hickam, TPM, Florine are 60-foot streets with a capacity of 18,000 cars per day. This information is public information, is available to those who want to take a look at it. As you're well aware, Fort Apache was recently expanded to a 4-lane road from Alexander to Tropical. In my opinion, this temple will not come close to even reaching the street capacity that are mentioned in this map. I've been going to the temple on the east side of town for many years, and never once have I seen more than 2 or 3 cars come out of that driveway. the temple.
Thank you, sir.
The temple
That's it.
is
1
equitable
minute.
in light of the
Thank you.
planned streets.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Mayor and City Council members. My name is Sandy Reed. I live at 3605 Blackhart Street, just outside the 1,000-foot notification zone in the city. I'm a former New Yorker, so I understand the value of space, almost more than anyone. I lived in Manhattan, and I'll tell you, the place that people go to is Central Park. People pay a lot of money to live close to Central Park and view Central Park. Could you imagine taking the Empire State Building and plopping it in the middle of Central Park? The only place that people have. Now, I understand in Las Vegas there are other options where the temple can be built, but for me, who lives right near Lone Mountain, I've been there 21 years, I think there's better location than where the temple is going. There are other parcels, and I just feel that we are not being heard as a group. We seem like a small group, but actually those stacks are not a little bit of a fallacy, because those of us who live close by, most of us do not want it there. It has nothing to do with religion. It's all about the building.
Thank you. And you are being heard. You are being heard.
I have,
thank you.
I just
oh,
want to
you can
submit
give that
something.
to our, leave it there, right there in the box for our city clerk. Thank you. Hi.
Hi. Hello, Mayor and City Council. Lori Figgins, 8910 Hickam Avenue. I'm in full support of the proposed temple, as I truly believe that it is the perfect spot as a beautiful buffer between the rural preservation area and the high-density housing that has already begun to be built on the north side of Alexander. My husband has worked in the Clark County DA's office for over 34 years. He worked with many city and county officials, and we've been asked to read a letter from one of those former officials who could not be here today. Dear Mayor and City Council, my name is Jay Bingham. I know how you feel sitting in your seat. I served 16 years, 4 on City Council North Las Vegas and 12 as County Commissioner. I know the sacrifice you and your family make for good government, so thank you. I'm asking you to vote yes on the new Low Mountain Temple. I was involved in 1983 when the first temple in Las Vegas was zoned. There was a tremendous amount of opposition and feelings were running high. The old county building on 4th and Bridger was packed all the way out to the street. As you have seen, that beautiful building on Bonanza that was approved in 1983 has improved that neighborhood and now is a peaceful part of our beautiful Las Vegas Valley. I always had a rule when I had to push the button that schools and churches and synagogues belong in the neighborhoods. That's what makes a great community. Thank you for your service, and I pray for peace in your lives and in your families' lives.
And I know he counted every word. You made it in a minute.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Can I put this into...
Yes, please. Just right there on... here we come. Thank you. Miss Jackie.
Hi. Sue Christensen, 9685 West Tropical Parkway. We're in the RNP and rural. I just want to submit for the record some other sites that we've located that would be more appropriate for the temple. I just want to put that in the record. And I just want to say, for someone who lost their house in a wildfire in California a couple years ago, we moved here to the rural neighborhood because we had 22 acres there. We wanted the similar kind of thing. We didn't really want to live in the city. So this is just not meant for this neighborhood.
We're sorry about your loss. We're delighted you've moved into Nirvana.
Yeah.
Trust me. Hi.
Good afternoon, Mayor Goodman and members of the council. My name is Dan Gilbert, and I live at 4265 Kevin Way, approximately half mile away from the post-temple site, and it's in the RMP in the county. My brother Ladd also lives very close to the post-temple site, but is unfortunately out of the country right now. So he asked me to share some of his words on some research that he did. I quote, "I knocked on 40 doors in the immediate neighborhood surrounding the existing temple on Bonanza. 11 of the residents answered the doors, and I told the people that I lived near the proposed temple site on the other side of town. I then asked them what it was like living next to the temple and if they could give me any feedback, positive or negative, regarding it. I did not receive a single negative comment. The comments that I received were that the building was beautiful and well kept. It was a landmark for where they lived. The people that came to the temple were quiet. They liked the feeling of security that the temple brought, and it helped increase and stabilize their property values." End quote. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. It's a lovely religion. Yes. This is all. You can breathe. We don't charge for that, yeah.
Hold it together. Okay. Amber Riley.
Address.
Yeah. 9826 Cherry Canyon in the city.
Okay.
We understand city development is imperative. We all need a break from the city sometimes too. Connecting with nature is also imperative. Our family searched and purchased a forever home in this special corner of the valley called Lone Mountain for exactly that reason. Our home is our refuge with many incredible views of Lone Mountain from our windows in our backyard. We wanted a place where we can observe the stars and the planets with our children. We even have a great horned owl that migrates to our backyard eucalyptus tree every winter. A 200-foot, 24-hour-a-day lit-up, bright white temple will take it all away from us. It will also take it away from all the hikers that go up to Lone Mountain that are seeking that break from the city as well. They can build a temple, they should build a temple, but make it harmonious with the area. You can give them a sanctuary and not take away ours.
Okay, thank you.
I submit some shows of how they've compromised before and my favorite temple they've built.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Mayor Goodman and members of the City Council, thank you for allowing us to speak. My name is Scott Blazard, and I live at 9375 West Verde Way on a 1-acre lot just north of the temple. I'm the proud third generation of Las Vegas. My children and 10 of my 15 grandchildren live in Las Vegas, and all within this Centennial area. I support the proposed temple application in every way. My career has been in real estate my entire life. I live here because of the lifestyle, lot sizes, and peaceful nature of the area. There are currently over 430 platted, approved lots being built around the temple, just north of the temple in that surrounding area. Less than 2 miles from the site. I am excited to have these new homes coming. The temple will be a wonderful sanctuary for those residents living now and soon to live in the area. I could not be more pleased to have the temple as my neighbor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You should go on the radio. You have a great voice. Hi.
Good afternoon. My name is Elena Gasca, E-L-E-N-A-G-A-S-C-A. I'm at 8440 West El Campo Grande Avenue, Las Vegas. I'm in one of those pockets of the Clark County, and I'm very sad that the council persons here have not taken into consideration in detail about our situation here. It's not, once again, it's not about religion. It's about the structure, the enormous structure that will be in our sites every single day, and how it will affect our people who have horses, who ride around, who have bicycles. I walk around with my dogs, and that will affect me. It will affect my neighbors as well. I love my neighborhood, and I'm sorry to hear that you have already made that decision when you're still hearing testimony here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi there.
Hello. Good afternoon, Mayor Goodman, members of the council. My name is Aurora Murata. I live at 3320 Lingo Street, Las Vegas, Nevada 89129, within Ward 4. I support the proposed temple application. I understand that one of the concerns about the new temple is potential traffic congestion. My husband and I have been volunteering at the temple on the east side of town every Saturday for the past 6 years. Despite Saturdays being one of the busiest days, we have never experienced traffic issues either arriving or leaving the temple. Additionally, during our travels, we love visiting temples of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and have consistently found that traffic is not a problem. This is likely because temple visitors tend to arrive and depart at different times rather than all at once, which prevents traffic buildup. Based on our experiences, I believe the traffic concerns for the proposed temple will not be an issue. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for coming down. Hi there.
They have that picture. They have the picture.
A picture?
Yeah. The one they just, you have that. Hello, council members, the one you just had. My name is Christy Rep. I'm 5 blocks from the proposed site. Yes. Thank you. I'm 5 blocks from the proposed site in the county. Regardless of how many emails, Councilman, Polinsky has on her desk from over the valley, entirely supposedly. I'm one of the nearly 94% of the community whose rights will be infringed upon with this approved application as it stands. You ask about an alternative. Is there an alternative? There is an alternative. The current applicant refuses to listen to any part of it. Your alternative is a 50-foot, 72,000 square foot temple in Mesa, Arizona. From its inception in 1927 to today, it still serves the mission of the members who are authorized to go in there. So there is an alternative. It's a current existing, active temple, and I've talked to many of the people around it in the community. They like it, so it's great. So there is your alternative to put something into an existing community. If you want to do something outside the community, like you said, with Councilman Sprooms, wide open, bring your community to it, but you're already in an existing community. We talk about a temple. We have to remember that an LDS temple is not a church or another temple mosque. It is not open to the public, and that's me, and we have visual noise now. I cannot turn it off. I have to look at it 24/7, unlike music that has quiet time from 10 to 7 a.m. So that's my thing, is that, can't stop seeing it. Thank you.
You so much. Hi there.
Good afternoon, Mayor Goodman and council members. My name is John Steinbeck. I live at 4319 Maltese Crest Circle.
The John Steinbeck?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, do you look good.
I do. We can close on that. Thank you. So I do live on one of the county islands. I'm 700 feet from the current proposed temple site. My family and I have lived there for 21 years, and we are very excited to have the temple so close to our home. We also welcome the awe-inspiring view that we will have from our backyard. We completely support this project. Over the past few months, I have heard many concerns about the new temple from my neighbors and friends. I want to address a public safety concern brought up due to the increase in vehicles. I am not here in an official capacity, and I'm not representing Clark County today. However, I have vast experience in public safety, including supervising the area of the Las Vegas Temple on Sunrise Mountain. That building opened in 1989 and has not caused a significant volume of calls for emergency services. It is a non-factor for emergency resources and traffic accidents. Oh. This includes the roads adjacent to the temple and nearby neighborhoods. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi. Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. May I put this picture on the board?
Sure.
My name is Bridget Salvi. I reside at 7030 North Conquistador Street. I'm actually in the county island, but I'm here as a representative of the Northwest Rural Preservation Association as the acting president. This image would better fit if we had an option to discuss. I was sad to hear what you had said, that should we wait 30 days, we'd be at the same loggerhead. And that is a testimony of how difficult the applicant has been with the neighborhood. In all the years as a private homeowner in different areas of the valley and here, I have never experienced an applicant that was so resistant to discussion and compromise as this applicant. So as a representative of many people in the Northwest area, as a Northwest Rural Preservation Association president, I would ask the council to please encourage the applicant for further discussion, that it falls on your lap to have the applicant rise up to negotiate something more pleasing. This would work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Mayor Goodman, I like your style. Thank you for your humor. That sometimes disarms people.
When you live by life, you have to have humor.
Isn't that right? Well, it's good. It's good to talk to you today, and council members, thank you so much for your time and for your service to the community. My name is Bill Wells. I am the director of the Centro Hispano in Ward 3 at 1101 North Pecos, where we have educational services for Hispanic individuals in our community. I live at 6475 Spanish Garden Court. I'm here because I've lived the last 11 years near the temple at Sunrise Mountain. I'm happy to be in support of my fellow residents to bring a temple to the west side of Las Vegas. The area surrounding the temple on Sunrise Mountain has been part of my walking at night and running in the morning for many, many years. I've heard concerns about the increase in traffic, and I can say that that is not an issue at all on Sunrise Mountain, serving the whole of the Las Vegas community. The only traffic we see really is in the morning when people are going to school and parents are taking their children to school, and that we have several high schools down Hollywood and elementary schools and a middle school right in the area. I love the rural setting. I love running. I love walking the area. It is rural. There are horses around. I own horses. It's beautiful, especially like the nighttime walk because it is so quiet. The temple allows for anybody to walk around the grounds, and my daughter goes there to find peace and rest.
Thank you.
I invite anyone to go there and just experience the same thing.
No, it is. It's lovely there. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Summer. I'm at 9115 West Hammer Lane. And right here I just have an application from the City of Las Vegas.
Stay in front of your mic if you would. You walk
So the
off,
top
you can't
application
get
is from 2019. It's from Chris Templeton. He wanted to get a GPA on the same parcel, and they also recognize it as an RNP in 2019. And then the bottom one is the LDS application, and they're not recognizing the parcel in an RNP in that one. So I just don't understand why they're recognizing it in 2019 as an RNP parcel and not in, now. So. You guys see it?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. Hi.
Good afternoon. Mayor Goodman, members of the council, and neighbors in Ward 4. My name is Julie Young. I live at 3728 Wilbur McGee Court within the city and Ward 4. My family has lived here for 22 years. We live several blocks away from the temple site and west of Majestic Park. At night, we're able to see the glow of the field lights and can often hear the joyful sounds of the activities in the park. Having personally viewed many other temples at night, I believe the lights of the proposed temple, will pale in comparison to the lights of the ball field. My family and I hike or walk around and up Lone Mountain multiple times each week. Over the years, I have watched the landscape change as subdivisions, homes, and apartment homes have been built. Change happens. And I believe this change, the temple, will add to and not detract from the beauty of the surrounding area. I imagine the surrounding area will experience an increase in value as the temple will bring a peaceful, clean, well-kept property, amplifying the beauty of the area. To the neighbors, I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, though you may not feel the same with regards to the spiritual fulfillment I will feel. I hope and suspect that we have more in common than the lovely place we chose to live and the passion we share for the future of the area. I look forward to meeting and getting to know you. I support the proposed temple application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Hi there.
I can't see. Is this on it there?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to submit that with the record as well.
If you pull, before you get started, if you just pull that mic that's over it to the side, the center mic, then everybody can see it. Thank you.
Oh.
Right. Thank you.
There you go.
Our clerk knows.
Okay. Eugene Yazzie, 4235 North TP Lane. Adjacent cul-de-sac, literally 100 feet from the site. Would be considered the fall zone of this property, of the applicant here. A couple things, with the, height, size, things like that. But one thing that keeps coming up and has never been fully explained on the record is the FAA lights are going to be required. This is not an applicant choice. This is not a city of, Las Vegas plan, anything like that. That's an FAA mandate, which was verified by the FAA State of Nevada Obstruction Evaluation Group Specialist Paul Holmquist. So at the above 150 feet in height, there's going to be both mid-level and top-level red beacon blinking lights all day. In the daytime, actually, it's going to be also required because the temple is not going to have the red and white slash painting up and down it. So there's going to be white blinking lights all day long. So every day for the rest of my life, I live in this property. I'm going to have to go out and look up 215 feet in the air with these lights blinking at me every day. I want you to imagine that's your backyard. You live this lifestyle. This is what you bought into. This is what you spent hard-earned money on. And now I have to go back every night and look at this all night long. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You didn't know it. We didn't even start your minute till 50 seconds in.
I got more if you want.
Longer.
I got more.
Thanks. Hi there.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Council Goodman. Sorry, I'm nervous, and council members. My name is Kelly Richards Baker. I live in Ward 4 in the city limits at 9012 Ghost Mountain Avenue. I support the proposed temple application. I am a native of Las Vegas, coming up on 50 years now. I've raised 4 kids in this part of town over the last 23 years. I've seen growth beyond belief. It's my home. From riding my horse as a youth through the valley, the city is ever evolving, and we will continue to evolve, and we will continue to evolve with it. Though I empathize, of course, with the opposed, we're all passionate, and I truly, truly believe that. I believe that the proposed temple will add more beauty to an already amazing area. It will stand well below the skyline of Lone Mountain. The mountain above the temple the mountain above with the temple below will only add an even greater backdrop to our stunning West Side Valley. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been a staple in this community, giving, supporting, volunteering, and growing this valley since the beginning. I've seen it. The temple will stand as a reminder that the LDS people not only serve the Lord, but will serve their fellow man time and throughout time, and also the beloved Vegas community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hi there.
Can we see the faces on the monitors like we were, or is it frozen?
Hey, Jeff, if you guys can go back to the cameras. Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Mayor, council people, thank you so much for your time. My name is Carol Cheney. I live 416 steps from the proposed temple. I live in my forever home. I do also have a business in the county in the city for the last 24 years. I'm a family practitioner, and so I want to address the health concerns with the light. Mr. Yazzie touched on the FAA beacons, but in regards to not only light pollution, but the negative effects to the health of those in the surrounding area with lights on 24/7, it impacts our circadian rhythm, our immune system, and our health. Those lights, City Commission talked about 4,000 Kelvin. 4,000 Kelvin are blue lights. We all are now knowledgeable of the negative effects of blue lights. Many of us pay extra to have those in our eyeglasses. So when we talk about not only the negative effect on human beings, what about domesticated and domesticated animals, our ecology, our wild birds, our whole area? I'm asking, please, do not allow anything over 150 feet, not only for the FAA beacon, but the lights need to be turned off at 11 p.m. Thank you. I'm entering all of this into the record, please.
Fine, thank you. We'll get that from you. Thank you.
Hello. Is this working? All right. So hi, my name is Tyler Brady. I'm a third-generation Las Vegas native and live at 4081 Turquoise Falls in the city of Las Vegas, Ward 4, within 500 feet of the new temple site. I'm the owner and broker of Luxury Homes of Las Vegas and personally sell over $100 million in residential real estate every year personally. This makes me one of the top 10 real estate professionals in Southern Nevada. I mention this because I know where the temple site was when I purchased this parcel. I'm trying to make sure I bought close enough to raise the value of my next property. My intentions, so my family also owns parcels and lands neighboring the new temple site in St. George, Utah, which those have also increased majorly in value. I'm in favor of the temple site being built as it will help property values and give a constant reminder to everybody to do what is right. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Thank you for letting me speak today. As you can see from the sea of blue shirts in Mr. Stotter's video, this developer no doubt has the upper hand. They have the resources to hire, I would argue, probably the best law firm in town.
Yes, I'm sorry, no, we didn't do it. You know why? The clerk didn't start you on your minute because you didn't give your name or address.
My name is Matt DeLoe, 4265 North Chieftain.
Okay.
My apologies.
Now click in, please.
And back to what I was saying, this developer has the resources to hire the best law firm in town, and I would argue, after listening to Ms. Lazovich, probably one of the best lawyers. But today, I'm asking you to please have the courage to stand up against this developer. Ask them to please, all we're asking for is just please go back to the drawing board. And if you take a look at the picture that I've laid out here, that's of the Phoenix Temple. It's 30 feet tall, but yet it's very close to the proposed square footage of the Lone Mountain Temple. That's a structure that is harmonious and compatible. And then really, that's all we're asking for, is just something that fits the area. Thank you for your time.
Nicely said. Thank you. Hi.
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Biggs. This is my wife, Christina Biggs. We live at 4161 via Montagna Street, which is approximately 1,000 feet from the front of the proposed temple site. We live in the county, and we strongly support the approval of the temple site plan. We live in the rural preservation area that has consistently, over the last number of years, been chipped away at the development of homes. Many of these developments in the last few years have received variances for building on homes on less than the original prescribed 1/2 acre. Now this is the norm. In my view, the building of this temple is the essence of the rural preservation. We must accept the fact that this land will be developed in one way or another. In order to maintain any preservation of ruralness, I would much prefer the construction of a beautifully impeccable manicured structure in lieu of a lot of homes, which is the reality, unfortunately. The use of this land of the temple is much more compatible with the preservation of the rural environment than countless tract homes. This land is not in the rural preservation overlay, so the lots will be less than 1/2 acre if developed, for sure. The construction of the temple will stimulate the building of homes at a larger scale and naturally increase existing property values in the area and maintain a lower population density, which is the essence of rural preservation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. As my husband said, my name is Christina Biggs, and my address is 4161 via Montagna Street. Our close neighbor, Richard Harris, could not be here today. Richard Harris lives at 4225 North Jensen Street, which is at the base of Lone Mountain and very close to the proposed temple site where we live. I'll point it out here. Just right there.
I drove by that one, too.
I would like to provide a copy of his letter in support of the project for the record.
Thank you.
I guess it goes right here, right? I'm not going to get rid. My name's Harry Van Gorp. I live at 5724 Centralia Street at the corner of Ann Road and Durango.
You're not in front of a microphone, so we're...
My name's Harry Van Gorp. I live at 5724 Centralia Street in the city, Ward 4, Las Vegas, in Centennial Hills, at a master plan community since 1995, when there was nothing in Centennial Hills, at the corner of Ann Road and Durango. I've been there for 29 years, and I'm on the board for 25 years. I'm not going to get redundant about this picture here, but at the top you see that temple was built in Tucson. It has an angel on the top, the gold, let me get the right word right, menorah angel with the horn. It was proposed at a 95-foot steeple. They came up with a compromise to the community, and it's desert landscaped. They aren't being unconscious about water consumption. What they have proposed to put 8-acre greenscaped, I don't know how many trees and how much grass, and don't care about water consumption of Las Vegas. There are major water problems in Las Vegas. If you read this is from the Water Authority of 2021. It says prohibit of installation of irrigated grass in new commercial.
Thank you.
And they want to put grass.
Thank you very much.
I want this all on the record.
Okay. Thank you. Hi.
Mayor Goodman.
Hi.
Members of the council, good afternoon. My name is Darrell Hardy. I live at 9788 Greenbrook Court. which is in Clark County and in the rural preservation area. I have lived in the Northwest Valley, an area, for 28 years, and I'm a fourth-generation Las Vegan. I fully support the proposed Lone Mountain Temple application. As a contractor for 40 years who specializes in commercial finishes, I review hundreds of project drawings each year. Projects rarely ever come close to upholding the high standards of design, construction, quality of materials, or workmanship sourced for temples. This includes the utmost care for every detail. Temples are unique among all buildings and constructed to last hundreds of years and bring added value to the surrounding neighborhoods. I know that the Lone Mountain Temple's presence will bless this community and stand as a beacon of light and goodness for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for coming down. Well, I think we're at a point, Ms. Lasovich. You and I had a conversation. I don't forget. I'm like something that never forgets.
Mayor Jennifer Lazovich, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive.
And very impressive and most beautifully done. And you've had a lot of compliments today, which you are deserved. And you are hardworking and kind and considerate and respectful. And we certainly, sitting here, appreciate it. And having known you over these years, you do an excellent job. And I want to commend Mr. Taylor, Ms. Jewett as well, and all of the people who've spoken here today. We all deserve the privilege of having faith. Some choose not to have faith. But I have to tell you, it's wonderful for us sitting up here today to feel the respect, the warmth, the love for this community that all of you have given here. And a lot of it is your leadership. There have been suggestions made. I'm not sure where we're going to head at this time, but first I'd like to ask you to make your comment to those being so patient in line. I'm sorry I don't have popsicles for you all, but we can't afford it. So your comment, if you would, in case there's somebody that really feels they have to.
Yes, thank you. So as we understand and we appreciate the balance that has been given and afforded
wait, you have to say your name again.
Okay,
for the
Jennifer
record.
Lazovich, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive. We appreciate the balance that has been given by the council to those who are here today in support of this application and to those who are here today to express opposition or concern with it. One of the things that I committed to do, you can see there's a lot of support in this room. There's a lot of people who took the time, because we didn't want to be repetitive, to have individual and unique comments. But I did commit that we would keep this balanced. So perhaps if the opposition has concluded with their public hearing comments, we will conclude with ours, unless there is an expertise on a question that is asked where I may need to ask somebody to come up.
What I'd like to say is there someone that is on the pro side here that really feels we've missed hearing something that council really needs to hear specifically, and if there is someone who does feel that. I see somebody walking. And I'm going to ask somebody who's walking, before you take a microphone, to step back. Would you please listen to his comments and see if that's fact?
Sure.
And meanwhile, I'm going to look to council to see, before we proceed on, do you have any comments you'd like to make at this point? Okay. I will ask you to do that, but do you have any burning anything? Okay. We're going to find out from Councilwoman Bruni a comment that you just wanted to make before we go back to Ms. Lasovich. You'll wait. Okay, thank you.
Okay. While I don't know, I know everybody here standing up has a very important point that they want to make, and that it's come from their heart, and they've spent a lot of time working on it. I would like to, I think, have just this gentleman come up and speak. There has been, in the beginning part of the presentations from the neighbors, there's been invocation of our LUPA, and he is a lawyer that specializes in that somewhat, and so for 1 minute I would like him, and then I think that we can conclude our side.
Thank you. Please, if you'll come forward. 1 minute. That's hard for a lawyer.
We'll see, yes.
No, we'll not see. 1 minute.
Good afternoon,
Okay.
Mayor Goodman and members of the Las Vegas City Council. My name is West Allen. I am a resident of Ward 2 in the city of Las Vegas. I'm also an intellectual property attorney and a constitutional lawyer who recently served as the national president of the Federal Bar Association. I rise to talk about the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, often referred to as RLUIPA. It is a federal civil rights law founded on fundamental principles of our United States Constitution, and in particular, the First Amendment. Applying this constitutional-based law to the facts of this case strongly militates in favor of approving the Lone Mountain Temple project. RLUIPA applies to local governments and forbids governments' decisions that substantially burden religious exercise. It is a municipal decision. If a municipal decision does burden the applicant, then the government is then required to show that there is a compelling interest to impose that burden. Generally, that interest requires substantial threat to public safety, peace, and order. RLUIPA further creates municipal liability when the RLUIPA is not followed closely and First Amendment is not adhered to. I take more time if we had it, but to be clear, the federal law of RLUIPA is applicable in this case. Therefore, with the Title 19 being satisfied, I encourage to avoid potential constitutional federal civil rights issues, I'd strongly encourage the council to adopt the application. Thank you.
And with that, don't go away. I'm
Yes.
going to turn to our city attorney for any response there, or concurrence, or whatever you would add.
RLUIPA is one of the 3 legal topics that we're keeping our eye on with respect to this item, Mayor. I know we're going to probably get a couple questions from the council on it, so I don't know that I necessarily want to respond in general right now, but we're keeping track of an arbitrary and capricious decision. We're keeping track of whether or not we would do anything that would amount to a taking of their property, and then as the gentleman pointed out, the federal RLUIPA is the last topic that we are also cognizant of with this item, and I'll be available for individual council questions from the dais as we proceed.
Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. At this point, I want to hear from Ms. Lasovich because we had a conversation. You already had an address in the beginning plus the extra minute. So if you would, let's come back here at this point.
I think, Mayor, we've heard quite a bit today, and perhaps the best thing for me to do at this point is stand here and answer any questions that may be directed my way.
Okay. Thank you very much. At this point, and comments from council, is there any follow-up from city planning at this point? Okay, so before we go ahead with that too, and I have not closed public comment yet, but that's the direction I'm moving. And Councilwoman, please, Councilwoman Bruni.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple of comments. I just want to thank everyone who came out and expressed their viewpoints, and was very cordial and gracious, so thank you for that. I also want to publicly acknowledge and thank my colleague, Councilman Francis Allen Polinsky. We know that the item that we are hearing today has prompted some passionate views, and according to the city, this is probably one of the most passionate, heated discussion items we've heard in 20 years. And Councilwoman, you've gone above and beyond any requirement in terms of hosting opportunities to hear from neighbors, making yourself available by phone or in your office to meet with supporters and opponents, and hosting town halls and roundtables to share information and facts about the issue. Over the last few months, sadly, you've been attacked. Your reputation and motives have been called into question, and threats of physical harm have actually been cast out into the world of social media. And yet, through it all, you have led with grace and composure. You've never wavered in your willingness to meet individually with neighbors and talk to one more neighbor. You've been thoughtful and diligent and persistent in your commitment to hearing the various perspectives. So I want to thank you for leading with grace and class and providing leadership that serves as a model, which I know I will follow moving forward. I also want to share that this has not been an easy decision. I have bothered our legal team and planning department with lots of questions as recently as last night because I wanted to ensure that the applicant had to apply for the same permits, follow the same requirements, and go through the same land use processes as other land users. But as one of the speakers recommended, I take very seriously the responsibility to represent my constituents fairly. In fact, for those of you who know me, I ran on a platform of listening to my neighbors. And for the record, my residents in Ward 6 overwhelmingly support the temple. I have received 745 emails, 92 of which have expressed support. So for me, it does feel like an easy decision because I am committed to representing my constituents fairly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to ask, unless you want to make your comment first, we do have a stack of cards, and I've asked Mayor Pro Tem Knutson to go through these, and if you're still here, which I hope you are, for if in fact you have anything, or is it okay at this point that we move forward? So if you would, please.
Thank you, Mayor. And you took the time to fill out a card, so if you haven't spoken yet, please feel free. Victoria Bremner, Sandra Reed, Harry Van Gorp, Christopher Garrow Grant. I can't read your writing, so I'm sorry. Renee Newman, Matt Hackley, Vicky Sheeran, Randy Gordon, Stephanie Dahlgreen, Steve Starr, Eugene Yazzie, Todd and Gail Gieb. So if you haven't, Patricia Reed, if you haven't spoken, you did fill out a card. If you have, though, thank you.
So is there someone whose name he read on a card that didn't get a chance to speak? Okay, so I'm assuming, yes, ma'am, then you please come up, or didn't you speak? Yes. So we're not doing overs, but thank you very much. Is there anybody else that didn't get a chance on those lists? We just want to be sure we're very fair there. And is there anybody in the group that didn't have a chance to speak that really has something to add? Okay, thank you very much. I mean, you can't imagine what it's like to live in this community when you have a conversation going and there's a truth and an honesty, not happiness necessarily, but a compassion to keep it calm and keep control and feel that maybe somebody is listening. So for the suggestions that have been made, the suggestions I even asked, and certainly in front of the client and Ms. Lasovich, exactly what I said at the opening. Is there another site? Has anything at this point other than the size of the project that's planned, and nobody's opposed to anything with the religion or anything about it. It's just very large, very magnificent, but somewhere else. And it's only in a more open area where people haven't already invested. And so whether there's any appetite for that or any further conversation that they wish to undertake on any of the suggestions, I'm sure we'll hear through Ms. Lasovich and certainly with Councilwoman Polensky. But to give you back the floor at this point, we have no one else from the cards, and I think Councilwoman Diaz did want to make a comment, please, and then at that point I'm going to formally close the public hearing. If you're okay and is there anything more to add that anybody has, except a plea perhaps to hear what was said, know the caring, and if there's no wiggle room, there's no wiggle room, but certainly hoping there might be some. So please, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to two points that I wanted to circle back to that were made. Just sparked, it seemed like confusion, because I thought I heard you say something in your opening comments, and then the opposition kind of took me back and said, did she not state that there was a timeline on the lighting? So the lighting has been raised several times in terms of intensity, duration, 24/7. And I thought I did hear you in your overall overarching presentation that there was going to be a time limit on the lighting, that it would go dark certain hours and certain days of the week. So I just wanted you to re-articulate that so that I kind of know and keep that at top of mind as we move forward. That's the first question. The second one was also about water conservation, and obviously I sit on the Water Authority Board, and we are trying to make strides forward, but I do know also the heat that we're feeling currently at 120 degrees some days. Sometimes it is because we lack enough tree canopy, and trees require less water than grass. And so I do know that as one of the faces on that board, we do want to make sure we have a harmonious balance, and that we don't put in grass, which we know is very water intense, but we do favor trees going into our communities because we know that we need the trees to bring down and cool our valley. So just wanted reassurance that the landscape that is going to be part of this proposed project is also going to be water smart.
Jennifer Lazovich, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive, responding on behalf of the applicant. So I'll take the answers to the questions in the reverse order. If you can look at the overhead, please.
Can you pull that, push it up a little bit? There you go. Good.
There we go. I could pull the bigger boards too, but I didn't know what questions were headed my way. So this is our landscape plan. Let me state for the record very clearly, we are not proposing any grass on any part of the site. As we know, that's a significant water user, and it is not being proposed, number one. Number two, while you didn't directly say it, some of the pictures that were shown, or if people have done their own research for other temples, perhaps in other states, there are sometimes water features that occur perhaps right before the entrance or into the direction of where the entrance is. There are no water features on this site for the same reasons. So then that brings me to the trees. The trees are in compliance with trees on an approved list by the Southern Nevada Water Authority, and that is really where we're getting our greenery. Yes, of course, there'll be shrubbery as well, but it'll predominantly come, any kind of relief from the heat will come from trees that come from the Southern Nevada Water Authority approved tree list. I believe that answers your question on the landscaping and the water. As it relates to the lighting, so what I said, and thank you if I was unclear or if it became unclear, there are two different lighting issues at play here, I believe. There was at the Planning Commission a condition that was placed on the application that the applicant agreed to that takes the parking lot lights throughout the site and turns those off from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. In addition, at the Planning Commission, there was a condition placed on the application that deferred the street lights, and those would be public street lights, but deferred the street lights on Hickam, TP, and Florine. We are required to put them in on Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon is an 80-foot wide street, and actually there are diagonally across the site headed towards the west street lights there.
If I may interrupt you to our Planning Commission, I thought the entire area beyond the individual parcels, no street lights, no sidewalks. So what street lights are we talking about? On their property, I thought this was street light pure, the neighbor, that whole area beyond the 20 acres.
Yes, Madam Mayor, Lucian Pyatt for the record. What Ms. Lazovich stated is correct. We did require street lighting on Grand Canyon only, but not on any other streets.
So it would be only on the streets on this 20-acre parcel there'll be street lights, and these according to, no.
Yes, there'll be street lights, the type like we have downtown standard lighting on Grand Canyon.
Around this particular 20-acre parcel, but not throughout that entire area.
Correct. Not on the other streets, just as she explained, Grand Canyon only.
Thank you. Sorry.
So to go towards the concerns and comments about wanting less light,
Good.
again, deferral of street lights, meaning not putting them in with the project on our site, on Hickam, TP, and Florine, but we are required to put them in on Grand Canyon. And then the parking lot lights themselves will be turned off. This is already a condition on the application. The parking lot lights themselves will be turned off from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. every night. It's throughout the whole parking lot. And then the other topic perhaps that I brought up, and I didn't mean to confuse anyone, but it relates specifically to the temple itself and the lights on the temple. So the lights on the temple are proposed to be, the temple itself is proposed to be lit 24 hours a day. So that would mean, despite that condition about the parking lot lights, we are asking that the temple lights be allowed to remain on throughout the night. This is a lighting exhibit which shows that the lighting of the temple at night does not bleed on to any other adjacent properties, nor does it even cast a light glow when you step too far away from our temple on our own site. And then this is a picture of what the temple would look like at night. It's gentle lighting. It is not meant to be bright and overly aggressive. Did that answer your question, Councilwoman?
So basically it'll be similar to what currently exists on the east side temple? What's currently in place there would be in place at this new site?
Yes, it's similar, yes.
Okay.
I think lighting standards have progressed since that temple was built in the late 80s, but it would be similar.
Okay, thank you.
So any other questions? Yes, Councilwoman Byrne, please.
I have a follow-on question. Thank you. So I realized today, Ms. Lazovich, that I haven't seen a rendering of the meeting house. And I think you said it was going to be 65 feet tall, which is that equivalent to the base of the temple?
There it is.
The meeting house, this is Jennifer Lazovich. The meeting house, this is the meeting house that I'm showing right now. The temple, and I'll contrast that in a minute, but the temple has that occupiable height of 65 feet. The meeting house to this ridgeline point right here is just under 27 feet to this ridgeline. And then to the top of where the steeple is for the meeting house, there's the 65 feet, which I believe is what you were just asking about.
Okay. And are you going to have the same sort of lighting on the meeting house and with the same conditions? No.
No, the steeple doesn't have, the steeple on the meeting house does not have any lights on it. There could be low level, and what I mean by that is there could be a wall light that for security purposes around the base of the building itself, but there are not lights on the steeple that reach up to 65 feet on the meeting house.
Okay. All right. So at this point, is there anyone out there that is burning to get to a microphone? Now, before I turn this over to Councilwoman Polensky, I'm going to, yes. No, we can't let, well, yes, I just did say that, so you're still burning. We're going to give you 1 minute.
Thank you.
Nobody else has gotten it, so you realize that you're being singled out.
I'm hard of hearing, ma'am. I'm sorry.
And you can, if there's going to be somebody else, we can't do this. We've already said what we're doing because we'll just be repetitive.
Just
thank
one
you.
thing, please.
No. What we can do is I'll talk to you afterwards, please.
Is that a no?
I'm going to close, yeah. No, because it started somebody else, and that's only fair. What's good for one is good for all. So at this point, I think, and before you put forth your final words, before you do that, if you'll get back to me, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to turn this over to you, Councilwoman Polensky.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Today marks a significant moment as we gather to discuss the proposed temple from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the northwest part of Las Vegas. I'm glad to see so many people engaged in the government process thank you to each of you who have taken the time to show up today and voice your opinions. Over the past 5 months, we, that's the City of Las Vegas, has worked diligently to communicate with residents. Here are the few ways that we have done so. There was a legally required neighborhood meeting. The city and I hosted a virtual forum. We hosted a small neighborhood roundtable and produced an Access City Council TV segment dedicated to sharing information and education about the Temple project. I personally have also offered over 280 residents who have reached out to my office in writing office time. 237 phone calls have been made and returned. I've spent about 30 hours in face-to-face meetings listening and learning. In addition, my team has created 40 informational social media posts relating to the proposed temple in the spirit of transparency and information sharing. In front of me are the level of correspondence that we, the city, have received. This is the support stack, and this is the opposition stack. There are just over 8,000 letters of support and about 2,600 letters of opposition. I have gone through both support and opposition. I have also read over 800 emails that have come to my individual city email address alone. I have given as much time and consideration as possible to all sides of this issue. Just as a matter of clarity, the City of Las Vegas does not solicit land use applications. I do not solicit land use applications. The choice of the LDS Church to select this parcel of land and then purchase it was made independently of me and my role as councilwoman. Jeff, can you please pull up the maps? To the neighbors who are concerned about this application violating the interlocal agreement, I want to share a letter I've received from Clark County Commissioner Ross Miller. Please take a look. I represent the people who are in the blue homes, and Commissioner Miller represents the gold homes on the screen above you. Commissioner Miller's letter states, "Dear Councilwoman Alan Polensky, the proposed temple on APN number 13806, 801010 and 018 is located within the City of Las Vegas. As such, the city will make all decisions regarding the land use entitlements. Parks, churches, and schools should be located within neighborhoods. Zoning designations for these type of uses is typical in the county and in the city. In addition, most of the adjacent property surrounding the proposed temple is land either owned by Clark County School District or BLM. Based upon the foregoing, I have no opposition to the proposed application. Sincerely, Ross J. Miller, Clark County Commissioner, District C." The interlocal agreement is a cooperative agreement that encourages the city and the county to work together. And in this case, we have. The commissioner and I are in consensus that the proposed temple does not violate the interlocal agreement. Dr. Holmes, if you would add this to the backup, I'd be grateful. At this time, I'd like to ask Public Works Director Joey Paskey to please come to the mic for some general traffic questions and input. Oh, Ms. Paskey, one of my favorite directors here in the city.
Thank you.
I've heard from the neighbors, and there is concern about traffic. Can you please give us a brief synopsis about the amount of traffic the temple will attract?
Certainly. Joey Paskey, Director of Public Works. So as Ms. Lazovich mentioned, the applicant has submitted and gotten approved a traffic study. So just to, in a basic speak, That's a study that anticipates the roadway and traffic conditions that a proposed development will bring. While this development didn't generate a lot of traffic, we still felt it was important, being that this is a special use site, that we have a traffic study on record and that we look at all of this. So the proposed development anticipated 195 trips in the evening peak hour, or what's projected to be the busiest hour of the day. That is just slightly above the minimum threshold to require a study. This equates, if you do the math, to about just over 3 cars per minute during that peak hour. For comparison purposes, an elementary school would be 8 to 9 cars per minute during that, again, just that busiest hour of the day. So we usually make them design for that conservative part. So the study, as I said, the study has been reviewed and accepted. No additional improvements are required to accommodate this minimal amount of traffic that would be brought by the proposed development. We feel the existing roadway network has adequate capacity, and all intersections that are adjacent in the vicinity of the proposed development would operate at acceptable levels of service. They do now, and they also would with the projected traffic.
Follow up. The integrity of the roads. People have questioned whether our roads can physically handle this much traffic. Will they need to be upgraded?
Absolutely. So our Streets and Sanitation Division of Public Works has gone out and inspected the roadways in the vicinity of the proposed development. They've looked at Grand Canyon, Alexander, Teepee, and those. And there are some isolated locations that we have some age and environmental related deterioration. However, there's no indications that there are structural concerns with now or with the proposed development. So we do not anticipate that the increase in traffic is going to have any impact on the structural integrity of the existing pavement.
Okay, last item. Sure. It was mentioned earlier in dialogue between, I don't know where he went, Mr. Taylor and Ms. Lazovich, the discussion about 2 entrances off Hickam. I'd like to discuss that. Do you, as the city's traffic expert, have an opinion on whether the east entrance on Hickam should be or should not be closed?
Okay.
Jeff, we need to turn on down here. Thank you.
Okay, so what we're talking about is, right now, it was proposed is that there would be 2 access points off Hickam, and it's being proposed, or possible if this easternmost
discuss it with you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts on that are, in the traffic study, they estimated what was going to go in and out of each one of these driveways. The traffic is fairly minimal and would easily be able to be accommodated off these 2 driveways here on Teepee if this driveway were to be eliminated.
Mr. Taylor, are you in the building? Do you want to come represent your clients on this matter? Ms. Jewett, do you want to represent the homeowners in the area? On the entrance off Hickam.
Valerie Jewett, here's the bottom line. This is a rural community where we ride our horses. We have children. If you look at the Douglas case, it says the traffic is a dangerous factor. That was Ninth Circuit Court that we're going to. The same path that we're leaving, and the biggest issue was traffic and the people's safety.
Thank you, Mrs. Jewett.
All I
speaking
care
specifically
about how
about
they get
this.
in and out of there, it's the amount of traffic. If you're having anywhere from 12 to 2,000 vehicles when we usually have maybe 50, that's excessive. That's dangerous.
Okay, I guess the neighbors don't want Hickam closed. Then we can table this dialogue? Sure.
Hi, Erin DeLue, and yes, we would like that entrance and exit point closed, please.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a problem with that from a traffic standpoint.
Okay.
It would easily be able to be accommodated over here with no degradation of level of service or safety to either one of these intersections.
Okay. Ms. Lazovich, will you ask your client if they're willing to concede that?
Jennifer Lazovich, 1980 Festival Plaza Drive, on behalf of the applicant. The church would agree to close, oh, it's not back on that. Well, could you get the aerial back up or the map, the overhead?
We're up.
You're up, okay. We weren't. The church would agree to close the easternmost access on Hickam. It's right where my finger's pointing. Obviously, to make it look good, I think we would want to continue a landscape buffer there. The reason I just want to point this out, the gates, as we indicated earlier, the temple grounds itself will be surrounded by a wrought iron gate, and the driveways into the temple gates, once you come on site, are here, here, and here. So when we close this easternmost driveway on Hickam, the access for the meeting house will come on and off of TP, and as long as the city is okay with that, we can accept that as a condition.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Paskey. Next point of dialogue, Ms. Lazovich. I'm not inclined, I haven't said this out loud, but I am not inclined to support an application that has a red blinking